Stepping outside, I see Virginia talking to her brother. I know I have to ask them, but I wanted to be sure it was okay with you first. I don't see any problem with it, but she's not my classmate. Have you talked to Donald? Do I have to? It's his house too, V. Fine. She bangs on Donald and Luke's door. Hey, nerd breath, get out of here. What? Nerd breath when someone's breath smells like Doritos and Mountain Dew? What do you want, urchin? I've got to get ready to go to... Is it okay with you if Ellen spends Thanksgiving break at our house? Your roommate? Why? Because her stupid parents sent her a letter saying they're not going to bother picking her up, so she's stuck here. Oh. Do most of our students go home for Thanksgiving then? You know, we're Eastern European. I think it's fine. I think most people don't expect us to. Well, yeah, it's a big family holiday. That's when everyone sees their cousins and eats macaroni until they burst. You tell him I've got detention. There's not much to tell. It's not like... I just understood what he meant. He literally went, well, you know, you can tell him. I have got detention to go to. It's like... This is lost on me. There's not much to tell. It's not like a big mystery. Turkey pie relatives tradition. People go from all over the country, which means major traffic jams for the normals. For the normals. Ellen says her mum says it's too much trouble to travel all that way back for less than a week's break. But I say that's BS because it's not like Thanksgiving is a surprise, you know? Well, it is to me. Oh, no one told me I had to go home before the semester break. Do I need to write my parents? Nah, there's always a few people who stay over, mostly wild seeds who don't want to go back to being non-magical. I just don't want my roomie to feel like nobody wants her, you know? I respect it. I assume she'll leave it at that, but then... If you need somewhere to go, we have a big house. I can ask my folks about you too. No, I'll be fine, but thank you. Oh, I wonder if there is a world where... you can get invited along. Hang on. Theme, achievements. Virginia. In global achievements, not my achievements, they're always hidden. Nope, okay, never mind. Maybe they're not. Or maybe like unless you're on William's path, it might work. I don't know. Or maybe never at all. I can't risk her parents recognizing me, but it was kind of her to offer, especially since we're not really friends. I got a motor. I promised Ellen we'd hang out. See ya. That is very nice of her, because I didn't think that we got on like that, honestly. I don't know if I have to stay and study or if I have to go to the mall. I can't remember if that was Saturday or Sunday. I should go to the mall. Maybe that was Sunday. There's nothing to do. All right, let's go study with Minnie then. If Minnie is also here studying, that means it's the correct choice, right? Yeah, Minnie Cochran is here studying. All right, study. 4 whole blue. It's the only way my smarts are going up anyway. At the end of the week, I have a chance to review things. Yeah. Cool. All right, onwards we go. Onwards and upwards, as the kids say. First thing, Monday morning, someone knocks on my door. Oh, it's just Minnie. Excuse me? What do you mean, just Minnie? Just Minnie? Excusez-moi? Oh, it's just the person we're trying to romance. Hi, can you do a seal spell? I think so. Yes? Yes! Haha! I was confident. Great, please stick this flyer to the wall. She hands me a piece of paper. It flies? What? Oh, no, it's an announcement. Surely you knew what a flyer was. Your English can't be that level? I look down at the paper. It says that there will be an assembly for all freshmen on Thursday, so our regular classes will not be held. What's this about? Spell practice. Can you put it up on the wall so everyone sees it? Oh, and we have a student council meeting after class today, so I'll see you then, all right? Okay, it is crazy how little about this I know, by the way. Okay, bye! She hurries away. With a touch of magic, I fix the note to the wall for my hallmates to see. What should I do this week? I think our stress is fine, right? 15? Yeah, cool, 15. All right, we're gonna get 50 magic at least, at the very latest by Wednesday, at the very latest by Tuesday. This afternoon, the student council has a meeting, though slightly smaller than the last one. Good afternoon, pilgrims. Oh, God, her names for us are so weird. The Thanksgiving break begins on Wednesday the 27th. On that date, we will collect and formally present this year's tributes. When witches and wizards from Europe first crossed the Atlantic, we came as guests seeking freedom and were greeted with hospitality. Uh-huh. Uh, me when I kind of hear that it's probably not the case. To hear my parents tell it, they mostly arrived as runaway apprentices who wished to become their own masters. The social structures of magical Europe derived from a time when there were only a few dozen magic users of any age to be found within a single country. Fewer than there are students at Iris Academy right now. No schools, no towns, no brotherhoods, only wizards and towers defending their own territories. Apprentices, when found, were often feared and controlled more than they were taught. It sounds very Dragon Age-esque almost. When the population began to rise, there was no place in society for the new upstarts, so many chose to take their chances in the new world. And then they stopped playing the MMO and went to America. We do not forget the gifts that we were given. We do not forget our responsibility to care for those who have cared for us. Even when, not you then, even when too many in the world outside have forgotten their obligations. I wonder if this lecture is meant for me specifically to hear, a reminder of the virtues of American wizardry. You know, she's probably, depending on how many people are here, if Jacob is here, it kind of feels like he may need to hear that. As such, it is our joyful duty to gather willingly given contributions from outside to help redress the balance. The tribute will be collected through ticket sales for the fall play next Friday and candle sales at the mall that Saturday. Oh, it's next week. Whoops. All student council members are expected to assist with the collection of tributes for the tribal councils. Angela, will you come up and select a slot? The booth needs to be staffed all day long and assistants are needed to run the front of house for the play, so there are many jobs available. But being freshmen, we're called up last to choose, which means we're stuck with the late evening mall duties that no one else wanted. I mean, it kind of feels like you want either the morning or the late evening. It's the worst case scenario is when you have something in the middle of the day, so you can't commit to doing something early, but you can't commit to doing something late either. That seems fine. On top of that, Potsdam explains that anyone working at the mall should take the first van out in the morning to help set up the booth for the first shoppers, so we'll have to stay there all day long. Oh. Okay. Never mind. Maybe this is the worst case scenario. That's just how it goes, I suppose. For the seniors to get the privilege of the best choices, someone else has to have the worst. It's not so bad, though. How hard can it be to sell candles? Very easily, actually. I even... wait, hang on. Have I shown this? I can't even remember. I have one here that I occasionally cheekily get through. Smells great, by the way. Every time I pick it up, I'm like, oh... orange, it's an orange candle. It will never not be amazing. Anyway, when you're the older, surely, like, you should let the freshman have it easy, and then you, the senior, take on the harder job. And then when the freshmen become seniors, they learn to, like, do the same, and you set a good example. Oldest just get to choose whichever they want. Feels bad. If anything, I think we should rise up and break the school down as is. 51. All right, what's the 51? Today you will learn one of the most important skills in all of black magic, and also a spell that you will have very little cause to use once you have mastered it. It's the worst sales pitch of all time. Enchantment is the art of creating magical items, objects which contain power that can be used by others. Or that will affect their users willingly or not. A curse, a blessing, a trap, these are all different flavors baked from the same basic dough. Before you can craft any specific type of enchantment, you must first practice binding raw mana into an existing material. Now, one of the easiest ways to infuse magic into a physical substance is to mix it into a liquid, a potion. That will help you visualize the flow of mana and the process of stirring things together to create a new whole. As we are not creating a specific enchantment, you can put as much or as little of your own mana into the potion as you wish. You are not creating any effect, you are only infusing it with magic. So, like, this is basically a spell for potentially helping someone. Maybe Minnie will want me to enchant a magic so she can work more hours later, you know, enchant her battery with more juice. I see a girl gracefully extend her arm into the air, one finger upraised to best display its colored polish. Yes, Raven? Can we drink it? Oh, what a incredible question. What? What is that, dear? It's a mana potion, right? If we drink it, do we fill our mana back up again? Oh, no. Well, not with this spell. The potion would be inside you, but the mana would still be in the potion. Would your body not... What? Hang on, now I'm more confused. Would your body not consume the... Whatever. Over time, as your body absorbed it, you might regain some of that energy, but not at the speed you would hope. It kind of feels like taking like a paracetamol before like playing a sports match or something. Like it may not have full effects, but you're kind of just working preventatively. You would need either a different spell to drain the mana or an enchantment designed to release it. Oh, but it was a very good question nonetheless. The way you answered initially seemed like it mocked it. What? Now has everyone picked out a smock or an apron? Potion stains can ruin your uniform. What happened to the Mushroom Club, by the way? I can't... Is that just like once a month or something? You've only done it once, right? Cost varies by how much mana you wish to bind into the object. Okay, this will have a use, but it has to be to help someone. Dave? I turn around, surprised to see Ellen. I don't think she's ever sought me out before. Hello, Damien? She kind of sought me out there. You're not going home for Thanksgiving, are you? No, because it's just too far, right? You don't live near here? It's too far to go home for half a week? She's trying to, like, justify her parents' trashy actions by appealing to me. But this is a visual novel. Tell the truth. It's not my holiday. Mostly because Thanksgiving isn't a holiday in my homeland. I didn't know there was going to be a break. Oh. Are you worried about being left here alone if everyone else is gone? I'm sure the professors will keep an eye on things. It'll give me the chance to get ahead in my studies. That's the least... Oh, hang on. I didn't realize I was covering... Whoopsies. Didn't realize I was covering that. Oh, God, I apologize for last episode then. But, like, that is the least scheming thing we could have said. It will give me a chance to get ahead in my studies? Master plan. This is the most specky nerd thing I've heard. Well, as long as you don't mind, I mean, it's not an awful thing, right? I hope you have fun. Thanks. That was nice of her, I guess. She's trying to justify it to herself, that her parents aren't terrible people, even though they're terrible people. Do not believe the melon. Burn them to the ground. On Thursday morning, all the freshmen are gathered together in the gym. Good morning, my bright young things. Today, we're going to have a very special lesson, which should be fun for all of you. You're going to get to practice what you've learned and transfer spells on each other without the pressure of a test. In future exams, you may come across other spellcasters who attempt to block your progress. You need to know how to use magic in combat and how to avoid magic being used on you. And now, you've all been studying different areas of magic. Some of you have chosen to specialize and will have access to higher tier spells. Yes, others, well, no. Others have been pursuing all disciplines equally and have a broad range of knowledge, but may lack dual-specific skills. And that's why I want you to all team up in groups. You and your partner can share different strengths. Will everyone please pair up in twos? The crowd springs into motion, each going their own way. I hesitate, unsure who to choose. I expected people to pick their roommates, but I see that Luke and Logan have immediately paired up, while Donald snags Ellen and Virginia goes for a butterfly whose name I can't remember. I mean, can we just go for Minnie? I wander around looking for someone who isn't attached yet and ended up standing by Barbara Solmero. Oh no. Please pay attention. She hates me. I'm president. Please pay attention before we begin. When you're ready, you and your partner will face off against another pair. The two teams will take turns casting spells and blocking them. This is not a battle. You are not trying to defeat or injure each other. Think of it like a game of catch. One team pitches and the other team catches. The pitchers will cast two minor aggressive spells, one after the other, while the catchers try to stop them without attacking them. You will get your turn to be the aggressors. In each round, only one member of each team should cast a spell, while the other observes the effects. Also, try to avoid interfering with any other pairs. That includes casting spells that tend to be large and messy. No fireballs or ice storms, please. Target only the active caster for the opposing team. Professor Van Brun... Who? And I will be on hand to deal with any injuries and accidents. I see. Hello. How's it going? I love your clothes. Why? Is that a robe or are you winged? I can't tell. I think it's a robe. Potsdam nods in the direction of a tall, athletic-looking woman wearing a feathered I haven't met her before. Perhaps she teaches the older years. It's a bit surprised we haven't seen her. Professor Van Brun waves, and I notice that her hands are clawed. She must be a Lechuza, an owl witch. So those are probably wings? Oh, but they're like an owl wing. Right. Okay. Break a leg. She's hoping someone gets injured? Not literally. It must be an expression. It is. If you are injured, please call for help and one of us will be right there. Now, take a moment to discuss strategy with your partners and then we'll begin the rotations. Okay, so this entire time, what I've been trying to put off, I don't have any defense, right? What am I going to do? Have a fireball cast at me and inscribe words on the ground? I genuinely don't think I have any defense. I think I'm just going to get hit. Fun. That sounds like it sounds likely to get pretty chaotic. I turn to face my partner. So she points at me, then flicks her fingernail audibly across her thumb, then spreads her hands, raising her eyebrows. I think she's asking if I can cast something. I don't understand. That's not helpful. Try to figure it out. I'm not sure exactly what spell she had in mind, but I think we'd better go over spells, what spells we each know. She nods slightly, but doesn't say anything else. Good enough. I'll start. I'll give her a quick rundown of the spells I know how to cast, even the ones that don't seem relevant to a duel. Then I wait. Push, slow, blind. At least she said something. Well, all right. When it's our turn to defend... Slow? Slow, I think? I'm gonna go with slow. She looks dubious, but nods. We don't have anything! We don't have anything. You cast push? No, that seems really bad. I'll cast light. You cast blind. I'll cast seal. I don't think we have anything. You cast slow. Maybe we can slow it down to a stop is what I'm thinking. Professor Potstone walks around the room, checking to see who's ready to continue and directing pairs to their first opponents. Barbara and I are set to challenge Luke and Logan. Casters, take your mark. Oh, this is going to be a disaster. Barbara steps into position in front of me as Luke comes forward to face her. Pitchers, when you hear the chime, cast your first spell and let the catcher try to block it. Hold your second spell until the second chime sounds. Spells ready? I focus my attention on Luke and the chime sounds. Barbara's spell and Luke's go off at the same time. His leaves a black mark on her robes. Hers doesn't do anything visible. When the second chime sounds, he marks her again. He turns towards his brother and only then does her spell effect become visible. His movements are slowed. He walks like his feet are being pulled down into a swamp. Right, I was thinking you could cast slow on the actual fireball, not him. While the spell is slowing his movement, it obviously didn't stop him from casting, so it's not much use in a wizardry drill. At last, it's my team's turn to go on the attack. I have push. She's useless. She has push, slow, blind. That's so bad. Let Barbara cast blind. Barbara takes up position opposite Logan. She gets quite a wicked grin when she manages to zap him in the ribs. What the hell? You need to talk about that. After we finish our set against the twins, we rotate on a new set of opponents and try out some different spells and techniques. We're having a fairly good time until... Whoa! All of a sudden a shadow sweeps over the gym? What in the absolute Lovecraftian monstrosity is this? Oh my god. I wonder if it's real. I wonder it either made by Damien or not, or like try and check for charms or fakeness, you know? Darkness gathers in the rafters, forming a monstrous shape, eyes of unearthly azure, hanging tendrils that writhe and reach and more lined with needles. For a moment, I'm frozen in place, my mind frantically rifling through years of magic lore in quest of a category for this apparition, some clue for how to placate it. Barbara has no such hesitation. As the rest of us blink and stare and scream at the beast above, she instantly snaps off a bolt of red magic which streaks directly towards its grotesque head. So, like, this is either going to dispel it or you've made it angry, so thank you for being the one to do that, because you're going to die. And passes harmlessly through, scorching the ceiling tiles beyond. It's fake. I'm so good. I'm so good. I know things. I know things. The monster, the illusion, ripples and folds in upon itself, disappearing. With a whole room filled with novice spellcasters, it might be difficult to determine who is responsible. Expect that. Donald cracks up laughing. Donald? Yes, ma'am? While your Tetranarch was very impressive, I do believe that you were told to cast spells only at your opponent. Technically, I didn't cast it at anybody. Teachers don't care, they'll still punish you. Openly flouting the rules is a bad example for the other students, don't you think? And as for you, Barbara, violent reflexes are not a virtue. I'm certain you meant well, but in the end, your spell caused more damage than Donald's. You can't blame her for that. Like, sure, like, don't just immediately pop off. But, like, it could have been real. But, like, blaming her more than Donald is insane. I suppose someone will have to clean the scorch marks off the ceiling, but that must be fairly common occurrence in a magical school. We're not on Barbara's path, but I think morally I have I have to defend her here. If we really had been under attack, Barbara would have been the only one prepared to defend us. The rest of us weren't sure what to do, so we did nothing. She acted. It was brave. But there was no real danger, was there? Examining the situation carefully before acting was the correct thing to do. A split second can mean, like, life or death. What do you mean? But what if it hadn't been? Like, this is results-based thinking. Like, she's only telling her off because it wasn't real, but, like, she's a better mage. I think Potsdam is a terrible teacher. There, I said it. I think she's a really bad example. I'm team grabbing her all the way now. He turns her attention back to Barbara. You meant well and there is no punishment, but do try and consider the consequences of your actions in the future. Perhaps you should have been in the horse hall after all. Wow, what the hell? As for you, Donald, I'm sure you know there will be a detention for this. Of course. Try to be good now. Jacob, put Mr. Arias down. Yeah. She hurries off to deal with a different situation. Luckily, there are no major accidents for the rest of the session. Okay. Well, we didn't get punished for being the world's worst combat magicians. We are not, like, combat ready. I think one of the exams at some point does require you to use like offensive magic in some way, shape, or form. We are going to be horrendous at that. Oh no. All right. First things on Friday morning, someone knocks on my door. Good morning. Good morning. We need to prepare a message to be sent around to the freshman class. I just need to know the next exam. Oh, I just found out that the next exam is scheduled for Wednesday next week. Ooh, not Friday because of the play that night. There would be official announcements on Monday, but with that test in the middle of the week, there's very short notice. If we tell everyone tomorrow, then they'll have the weekend to prepare. Sure, that makes sense. It also gives us a chance to remind everyone about Medea, the full play, so that they can save their allowance to buy tickets. I hope I get to go for free as the president. I literally can't afford them. I spent $100 to become president, which you're doing 90% of. How much does that cost? $5 for students. Because of the deal I made during the election, I don't have any money, but Minnie doesn't know that. Is there another way? Can I bribe? No. Can I kill someone to get in? Can I kill the security guard to get inside? No. Is there any other way to get a ticket? My allowance is already taken. Oh, if you'd said so on Monday, you could have signed up to work and get in that way. But I didn't know. If you ask Professor Potsdam, she still might let you volunteer. I'll ask her. I'll talk to her later about that. Anyway, I wanted to know if you have any messages you want to add to the note before we send to class. Oh, maybe something about your Thanksgiving holiday to be sure everyone knows when it is and has their plans? Sure, that's a good idea. I'll write out the announcements and make copies to give to Jacob. Can we, like, make up our own Thanksgiving Eastern European holiday and just, like, talk about that? Sharing of culture is like a really good thing, especially when I'm making it up on the spot. I'll write out the announcement and make copies to give to Jacob so he can distribute them with the mail tomorrow. Okay, bye. She hurries off. She really is motoring around. All right, one more. Thanksgiving was the 27th, right? So ideally, I don't want to. Oh, it is 2 weeks. I kind of don't want to sleep before then, because I think over Thanksgiving all of our stress is going to go away anyway. We'll see. This morning there is mail for me, not a letter in an envelope, but a folded over sheet of paper with a silver star sticker attached for attention. It's Minnie's announcement. As promised, exam on the 20th, full play on the 22nd. Thanks, Brit. Giving break on... Okay. Well, you know what we have to do? Increase our stress some more. 30 MP now. It's slowly going up. The difference between 20 and 30 when spells can cost 5 is pretty huge. I see Donald walk in and head to the back of the library. Didn't he say something about extra credit projects? He pulls a piece of paper off the wall, folds it up, and he shoves it in his pocket. Go on, what are you doing? I stand up and catch Donald before he can leave. What have you got? Project for Potsdam for merits. He's asking for people to make candles next week. That must be related to the Student Council fundraiser. You interested? Yeah, sure, why not? We have 20 merits? I don't know what the max is. It could be 50, it could be like 70, judging by that. I doubt it's 100, that seems too many. But sure, why not? I'm happy to help. You can come with me and Luke then, I'll let you know when we're ready. He nods at me and leaves the library. And if I'm selling the candles, I know how to then approach it more enthusiastically, because I know they've been made terribly and I have to lie. I tracked down Professor Potsdam over the weekend. Yes, dear? Is it still possible to volunteer for the full play? I'd like to see it, but I can't pay for a ticket. Oh, I see. Well, we wouldn't want to be deprived of culture, would we? The sets and costumes have already been prepared, but I don't think you want to face the parents. You're right, I do not. If you're willing to help clean off after the show, that would do nicely. Sure, I can do that. Oh, that's what we tried to do for Dark Dance anyway. Wonderful. Then we will see you then. That was easy. Oh my god. All I have to do is do a little bit of cleaning. Bish, bash, bop. For today's club meeting, Balthazar... They must be every few weeks or every 3 weeks or something, right? I have no idea when they do it. For today's club meeting, Balthazar has called us not to the forest, but to the cafeteria. One table has been covered with newspaper and topped with an assortment of different mushrooms, some round, some long, some skinny, some twisted into Eldred shapes. Oh, hey, like the thing that was cast in the gym. Another table holds various equipment, mirrors, magnifying glasses, a round display of wool dyed different colors, and papers marked with radiating patterns. Today, we will be discussing how to categorize mushrooms, looking at different caps, stems, gills, and spores. Now, because these are some I prepared earlier, we are missing a trick for identification. You have to look at where it's growing. If it's on the ground, is there just one or a row or a ring? Is it growing on deadwood or dung or a tree? There are thousands of species of mushroom, but we only have time for the first 70. This could be a long day. Man, we're going to know 7% of mushrooms so well. Just you watch. We split up into groups and discuss the different mushroom specimens, comparing them to the pictures shown in books. Sticky draws pictures of the different mushrooms we identified, though she adds strange details like wings or eyes to some of the sketches. Hey, you can be a little quirky with a mushroom. It's a mushroom. It doesn't mind. When we're done, oh god, I'm resisting so hard to saying there's much room for lots of improvisation, but I'm really trying not to. Though I said it, but I admitted I didn't want to, so it doesn't count. The kitchen cooks up the few of mushrooms we've been hopefully identified as safe and allows us to taste them. They're delicious and no one dies of poisoning, so a good job all around. Oh my god, standards do not get much lower than that. My goodness. Well, we did some mushrooms and didn't die. Yay!